Drew Allar is finally getting his opportunity to start at quarterback for Penn State this year. Sean Clifford is gone. He's now with the Green Bay Packers, and Drew Allar was the number 1 ranked quarterback coming out of the 2022 recruiting cycle. And when you look at James Franklin and you're asking, what has kept Penn State from getting over the hump in the Big Ten? And it's been simple. It's 2 teams in the way, Ohio State and Michigan. We saw what Penn State did to Utah in the Rose Bowl. Penn State is one of the most consistent programs in college football. And I think right now, this is one of the 10 best teams heading into this season. Drew Allar has a really good group of running backs around him. His wide receiving core is a little bit questionable, but I think that Drew Allar is one of those quarterbacks that's good enough to elevate the guys that you have at wideout. He's really accurate with the football. He has really good pocket presence. And he is pretty mobile for a guy his size. Now, he's not Josh Allen, but he does have enough mobility to make you pay for it if you give him some open field and you can run some read options, some design quarterback runs with him. I think he's going to be really deadly in the red zone due to that size and his athleticism. But one thing that I really love about Drew Allar is his arm talent. Now, he has a really unique ability to throw from different body angles. So even though his body may be getting twisted in awkward positions, he may be ended up getting thrown around and having to make plays when he's falling down, still getting the ball out. He's one of those quarterbacks, man. He's one of those kind of quarterbacks that just finds ways to make hard throws look easily. He's one of those quarterbacks that are going to make a bunch of plays when he's falling down, still finding ways to get the football out. He has that kind of arm talent. I don't know what it is with some of these new age quarterbacks, but it's like they have no bones in their arm and they just have hella strength. In the spring game, he made a couple of really impressive throws, especially throws that were in tight coverage. Drew Allar, this is going to be probably the best quarterback in the Big Ten this year. Even though we haven't seen him play an official game as a starter, he did come in and mop up duty when they were getting blown out against Ohio State, and he also did appear in a couple of other games in garbage time. But Drew Allar, I think he may finally be the at quarterback for James Franklin. You know, Ryan Day with Ohio State has had Justin Fields. He's had C.J. Stroud. Jim Harbaugh has finally gotten his at quarterback in J.J. McCarthy. And I think that Drew Allar is finally the at QB for Penn State. And I think he's going to be the difference between this team being able to get over the hump. Even though he hasn't played a game, you look at this dude's high school film, he was a dog. And even looking at him in the spring game, he looked a little shaky, but that's the spring game. You know, not everybody's playing in the spring game 100%. You're going to have some guys who are banged up who aren't going to be able to go in that game. So the offensive line situations normally look pretty shaky. But they do have one of the most talented offensive lines in college football. They got one of the best left tackles in the game. And when you look at their defense, it's going to be really good. So you look at Drew Allar, this guy probably should be able to come in right away and give them elite level quarterback play. You may sound putting high expectations on Drew Allar, but I mean, he was the number 1 ranked quarterback. What am I supposed to do? Duh. Trevor Lawrence had similar expectations. When you're the number 1 ranked quarterback, of course, you're going to have high expectations. That's just what comes with the tag. They don't rank you number 1 for no reason. They rank you number 1 because you have elite traits about you that are going to make you an instant impact starter. And Drew Allar, if he ends up living up to that hype that he had coming out of high school, you better watch out for Penn State. I don't think that Michigan and Ohio State are the locks that many people feel they are to win this side of the Big Ten. I really don't. You really need to look out for Drew Allar, because the difference between Drew Allar and Sean Clifford is that in big situations, The situations that Sean Clifford came up small in are going to be the situations that Drew Allar rises up to the occasion in. You saw how Penn State started out slow against Ohio State's defense. Sean Clifford got out to a slow start in that game. Drew Allar is going to be one of those guys that in those big games, he's going to elevate his play. He's going to elevate his teammates. So Drew Allar, I think he's finally going to be able to put Penn State in position to get into the Big Ten Conference Championship game. And I do believe that they're going to end up getting at least one big win this year. Don't know who it's going to be against, but I think they're going to end up pulling off an upset. I think that this is a talented team, and the only thing that has been holding this program back is their lack of talent at quarterback. Trace McSorley, Sean Clifford, those guys were good, but they don't have the talent that Drew Allar has. Drew Allar is about to put the college football world on notice this year.